Hi guys, this is a short video about a way that I've been using wikispaces, which is a free to download, well, it's a free piece of software on the internet, and I've been using it to increase the opportunities for my students to engage in active learning. So rather than just sit and absorb a load of facts from the teacher talking or from reading a book, actually thinking about what they're learning and talking to one another about it. Now basically I'll just talk a little bit about the software, and the software is wikispaces. It's almost like I've managed to create a Wikipedia for my classroom. So wiki itself actually means quick in Hawaiian, and Wikipedia, as you probably know, is an open to everyone encyclopedia. So if you want to create a page about yourself, you can do. But if other people think you're talking rubbish, then they have the opportunity to go in there and edit your page and so on. And it sort of works the same for the wiki space that I have for my biology class. So on the screen you can see it. This is the page that you actually get to when you type in the address that's at the top. That's mrclay13biology.wikispaces.com. Now along the side of the page you can see here are some links. So there's a bit of a blurb there that I've got to explain to the students and whoever else comes to have a look what this is all about. But I'm just going to show you a few features of it before I actually show you how to set this up. So if I click on genetics there, I can take myself through to the topic that we're working on right now. And this is all the sort of lessons, if you like, that we've been learning about. And I'll just quickly open this one here, the third one down, just to show you how I've been using this. So really basically what I've been doing is I've been getting students to create collaborative notes. So instead of them writing any notes in class, I've been getting them to, do some learning in class or whatever, do some type of learning experience. It's a little bit more active, and when they get home, actually working together to create a collaborative set of notes. So they just create one set of notes for the class that then I can check, and then every single student's got a really good set of notes, obviously based on each person's ideas, but at the same time I also manage to check the notes as well. I can mark them and assess them for accuracy. So if I actually quickly look at this page, there's a few things that are probably important to point out. The first thing here is there's the learning outcome. That's the thing that the students are actually learning about. And then below that we've got the success criteria, and this is what the students will use to be able to check how well they've actually met the learning outcome. What will they be able to do? They might not be able to do all of them, but they'd be expecting to get at least some of them there. Now I'll just sort of skip through. These are some podcasts that I've given my students to actually look at, which is a completely different podcast in itself, and I'll be doing a podcast about podcasting sooner or later. But if I just quickly scroll down to the bottom to the collaborative notes section, so the notes here are actually made and they're based around the success criteria that I showed you at the top. So just to recap, there's the success criteria, and at the bottom of the page the notes are actually based around those success criteria. And different students can log on and add a little bit, and another student can come along and take a little bit off, and so on. Now I can actually see which students have done what if I want to. I can just quickly click this bar here and I can see all the things that have been done. And if I quickly click this one here, February the 18th, Gina made an entry, and I can see that she's taken some things out and added some things. The things in red have been taken out, things in green have been added, so I can keep a bit of a track of who's doing what. Also, what I can do is I can read those notes as well as checking them. I'm also able to gain an understanding as to any misconceptions my students have got, things that I need to cover in a little bit more detail when my students get back to class, and so on. So they're actually working on this after school. Now obviously they're thinking critically about this. They're thinking, okay, well, is that right what that person said? Do I need to change it? And so on. So a little bit more than usual sort of note taking that they might do in class. So that's the first thing we've done. The second thing we've done is also I've got a discussion area which comes as standard on the Wikispace that you get on the internet, which I'll show you about in a minute. If I click on this, this basically gives the students an opportunity to ask questions whenever they want. So usually if I just quickly open this little subject discussion up, usually they could ask questions in class, and if they maybe met up with a friend after school, they could ask a friend a question. This actually allows them to ask a question of everyone in the class, including the teacher, anytime they want. So here I've got a student that's asked a question at 5:10 in the evening, which obviously is a time which you usually probably wouldn't have the same opportunity to do this. And within a couple of hours, I think within about the space of about 4.5 hours, we've got sort of 3 or 4 responses to that question from students in the class, and that goes on over the course of a couple of days. And then I'm able to actually come in there and I'm able to read what people have said. This is me here, Mr. Clay, as you can recognise me from my picture. But as you actually sort of look down, you can get an impression as to what the students have learned, what would be their next step, what don't they get, And also you can put a little bit of a comment in there if you want to try and help them out, maybe give them a bit more information, or even give them the answer if you think it's the time to do that. So there's basically the two things that I've used Wikispaces for in order to actually create a more active learning experience for the students. So what I'll do next is I'll show you how to actually set this up yourself. Okay then, so let's talk about how you actually get this thing set up then. So the first thing you need to do is go to this website here. At the top of the screen you can see it, www.wikispaces.com. Once you go to that page, you get here, and you need to click this bit just where I'm hovering the mouse over right now. It's just sign in, so if I give that a bit of a click. And then you're going to need to click make a new account, assuming that you haven't got one already. So clicking that open, and then I'm going to make myself some account details. So I'm going to give myself a username, and my username is going to be the King Clay. And I'm going to create myself a password, and I'm going to put my email address in there, which is obviously a really cool email address I've just made up for the purposes of this video. And then I'm going to choose to make a video, and I'm going to give my Wikispace a name. Now, so I've done all that, so I've basically given myself a username and a password, just like I would do if I was creating a Gmail account or something like that. Put my email address in there, as classy as it is. Put my fact that I want to make a wiki. The King Clay 2 is what I want to call the wiki, so it's going to be the kingclay2.wikispaces.com. Now I get to this part, and this is actually really quite important. So I want to actually click protected free. That's what I choose anyway. That allows anyone in the world to actually see the page, but only the students and you to actually edit the page. Or of course anyone that you decide to give rights to. We'll come on to that in a little while. So I've clicked protected free. Now the other important thing is I need to choose from wiki type. I need to choose this here, K-12 education, primary and secondary. That's good because it gives you a wiki space that's free of ads, which is useful because some of the ads aren't very appropriate. So I'm going to click join. Hopefully this will just take me through to the next page, providing it accepts everything. There we go. So it's now created. The King Clay 2 is all good, and it's giving me a load of stuff there that might be useful to you as well. But hopefully after watching this podcast you won't need too much help, but if you do, there's stuff about getting started. So I'm just going to get rid of that for the time being. So I've got my wiki space, and let's just basically look at how it actually works. So first thing that I might want to do is I might want to create some links. So this is a bit of a basic page. You can play with this however you want, but I might want to create some links for the topics in my class. So I'm just going to click this bit here that says edit navigation, and I'm just going to actually, first of all, I'm just going to click that and delete it. I don't want that anymore. And I'm going to create some links. Now to create a link, let's say that this is a PE class, and maybe I'm going to have something like biomechanics. If I could spell that as right. Yep, that's all good. Now to create the link, all I need to do is put 2 square brackets at the beginning, what I want the link to be, and 2 square brackets at the end, and that's it, all done. And then maybe I'm going to put games. Whoa. Maybe I'll put striking games. Going back to my PE days here. And then maybe I'll put gymnastics. Or actually, principles of fitness. How about that? Okay, so now I've created 3 links for the different topics that my students might be doing, and I'll just quickly click save. Really straightforward, no drama at all. Now I've created those links there. Now I want to actually start to edit the page. Now this couldn't be any more straightforward either, so all I need to do there is where it says edit here, I quickly click that, and I delete all that because I don't want that on there, and I just maybe put something like a welcome greeting. I'm going to keep it really simple here, and that's it. I just type in there whatever I want. That's all good. Now if I want to put something in a little bit more fancy, maybe I want to put a video in there. Okay, I'll just quickly go to YouTube and find a video. And this will give me a good opportunity to advertise my own YouTube channel. I'm going to quickly go to some of my own videos. And let's say that you want to see the fascinating video on gene linkage. I'm just going to quickly open that up. I'm going to pause it before I start speaking because that would be embarrassing. Now if I want to put this video into my wiki space, I just quickly click this bit here where it says embed, and that gives me this big code. Now that's going to be useful, so I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy that, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to paste it in. Now I can't just paste it in normally, so what I do is I click widget, I click video, I click YouTube, and then I right click and paste, and save. Bob's your uncle. So I've got a video in there. Now if I wanted to put an image in there, I click File. And I want to insert a file. So I click Upload File, and I'm going to put a picture of... I'm not going to choose Tony Blair. I'll choose the lesser of two evils. I'll go for King Kong. King Kong didn't start a war, I don't think. Not that I want to get too political right now. So hopefully that'll be all good. It's going to come up there, sweet as, and I put him in there as well. Now I've done that, so I've got some text in there, I've got a video in there, and I've got an image. Now I'm going to click save, and that's hopefully going to save that whole thing. There we go. So I've got a video in there, and that image isn't that right, so we'll have to work on that, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, but if the students want to play the video, they just happen to click play, and away they go. So that plays there, but I'm going to stop it. So that's basically very, very briefly how to actually set the wiki space up. The discussion area is already set, so there's a separate discussion area for every page. So if I want to actually start a new discussion, I might just say hello, just to start this new discussion, and or put a new post in, and then put welcome to the wiki, and then post, and that's actually open there. The next person might come across, and they might click the subject, and they go hello to. I'm having a conversation with myself, so it's looking pretty sad. But you can see how that would work, and the discussion counter there counts up the number of things. Now, let's say that I want to go to striking games. I can edit this page exactly as I did before. But what I encourage my students to do is that if they wanted to ask a discussion about a question or enter a discussion about striking games, to actually start the discussion on that page there. So they do what I just did there, and they'd maybe start a striking games discussion about, hey, how good are England at cricket? And that's not a question, that's an exclamation mark. Yeah. So that's basically how to actually set it up. And what I'll show you next is how to actually get students to actually be able to enter the wiki and actually be able to use it.